We start at a school, where we see students talking about their favorite heroes. One girl mentioned Christopher Columbus, but when Roni's turn came, he surprised everyone by saying that his hero was a dog named Hachiko, his grandfather Parker's dog. At first, the other children laughed, but soon the conversation caught their attention. He explains that the dog lived in a temple in Japan surrounded by spirituality and tranquility until, for unknown reasons, he ended up in the United States. His cage arrived at a train station where he met Parker Wilson. He was a good man who couldn't help but see the dog's lost gaze. Parker told a station worker to take care of the dog while they searched for its owner. That night he would have to take it to the kennel, but Parker, worried about the dog's fate, took it to his house until he found the owner. That first night was chaotic. The dog was scared and escaped from where they had left it and accidentally played the piano, causing a ruckus. Then it approached Parker's wife, Kate, and began licking her feet. Kate wasn't convinced she should keep the dog, but Parker assured her it would only be until its owner was found. The man set up a bed for it in the shed and settled it there. The next day, the couple's daughter, Andy, was delighted with the dog and proposed adopting it. Even so, Parker visited the pound and discovered that if the dog wasn't claimed within 2 weeks, it would be euthanized. The worried man decided to keep it and continued posting signs. As the days went by, and as always, the dog began to win the hearts of the entire family. Despite the difficulties, Parker kept it hidden on the train, and once at work, the dog escaped from his bag and sat in the middle of the stage. The man later visited a Japanese friend, who revealed that the dog originated in Japan. He explained that the dog's collar had the number 8 written on it, a symbol of luck in Japan, and pronounced it Hachiko. He also explained that the dog had chosen him as its owner from the start. Parker liked what he heard and said his name would then be Hachiko. One day at home, he spent time researching Hachiko's breed, but the dog was restless and turned on the television, where a baseball game was being broadcast. The man fell asleep, and the dog took the opportunity to eat the popcorn. Kate arrived and watched them, realizing how much the dog meant to her husband, and finally accepted Hachiko into her life. Hachiko became Parker's inseparable companion. He accompanied him everywhere, especially to the train station. One day, she was trying to teach him how to fetch a ball, and after several attempts, Parker realized that Hachiko wasn't just a dog and was different from the others. As the days went by, Kate received a call from someone interested in adopting Hachiko, but seeing the strong bond the dog had developed with her husband, she ended up saying they had already found him an owner. She knew Hachiko was already part of the family. One day, as Parker was heading to the station, Hachiko escaped from the house and followed him, forcing Parker to accompany him back home. The man discovered he had dug a hole in the garden, and while he was trying to fix it, Kate told him she would take care of it and that he should hurry and catch the next train. We see Kate give him something to eat and make peace with Hachiko. Later, hearing the sound of the train, Hachiko ran to the train station and sat down to wait for his friend Parker. When the man saw the dog, he asked the vendor how long Hachiko had been waiting, and he was told he hadn't been waiting long. Later, at a family meal, the Wilsons' daughter introduced her boyfriend during dinner. Hachiko couldn't take his eyes off the grill. Her son-in-law tried to play with him, but the dog, true to his nature, showed no interest, and Park pointed out that Hachiko wasn't that kind of dog. Additionally, Ken, their Japanese friend, explained that this was typical of that breed and that they didn't do such things. The station routine became a constant. Hachiko accompanied Parker every morning and waited patiently for his return. Their bond grew stronger and stronger, and he was even present at Andy's wedding. However, one day something broke the routine. Parker noticed that Hachiko wasn't waiting for him as usual. Worried, he asked for him until he discovered the dog was in the shed defending the place from a skunk. When he tried to scare it away, they both ended up sprayed with the stinky skunk thiol. The event ended with a tomato juice bath in the tub, and although Kate insisted they still smelled horrible, everyone enjoyed the moment. Sometime later, Andy visited his parents with great news. they were going to be grandparents. Joy filled the house, but one thing remained constant: Hachiko was always by Parker's side. Every day, Hachiko accompanied him to the station and waited for him faithfully, but one day something strange happened. The dog didn't want to follow him. It barked at him as if trying to stop him from leaving. Parker knew he had to leave, and when he was about to leave, Hachiko did something surprising. He picked up the ball and carried it with him. Parker, surprised and excited, threw the ball, and to his surprise, Hachiko brought it back. They happily repeated the game several times, and Parker, moved, knew this was special. However, he had to go, so he told Hachiko to go home. The very restless dog continued barking as if trying to warn him of something. Parker leaned down, petted him, and promised they would see him at 5 o'clock. And then he left, not imagining that that day would mark the beginning of something that would change his life forever. While teaching his music class, Parker felt weak and suddenly fell to the ground. He had suffered a cardiac arrest. Despite everything, Hachiko waited at the station for his friend as usual. However, when 5 p.m. arrived, Parker didn't show up. The dog was sad but loyal, continuing to wait for his friend, unaware that he would never return. That night, Andy's husband went to pick up Hachiko to take him home, and the next day everyone went to Parker's funeral, except for Hachiko, who remained at the station, waiting without understanding what was happening. As time passed, Kate decided to move away, leaving the memories behind, and Hachiko moved in with Andy and her husband. However, the dog wasn't happy. This second house didn't feel like home. Something was missing, something that no shelter or care could replace. Hachiko one day, taking advantage of a carelessness, escaped. His heart told him that he should return to his true home and to the train station where he had always waited for his friend. With firm step he went to the station, and as always he waited for Parker. Andy and her worried husband found him and took him back home, but Hachiko was not at peace. His impatient soul knew that his place was not there. Andy, seeing the sadness in Hachiko's eyes, understood his pain and with a mixture of sadness and love told him that he would not stop him anymore and opened the bars in case he wanted to leave. Hachiko, as a thank you, licked his hand and without hesitation returned to the station, and from that day on he did not care if it rained, snowed or was sunny. Hachiko waited as he always had done. During the nights he took refuge under a wagon, and at dawn he resumed his routine. Nothing could move him, and not even a dog that occasionally tried to get his attention could distract him. His mission was clear, and it was to wait for Parker. The most important friend in his life was moved by his story. The local people, moved by his story, began to take notice. Soon, a reporter wrote about the faithful little dog who, despite his owner's death, continued to wait for him with the same devotion as always. Hachiko's story spread like wildfire, igniting hearts. People from all over began donating money for his food and well-being, but Hachiko asked for none of that. All he wanted was the impossible: to see Parker again. One day, Parker's Japanese friend visited the station. Moved by the dog's devotion, he offered to help pay for his upkeep, but the people considered him part of the community and refused, because Hachiko had everything except Parker. Before leaving, the Japanese man told Hachiko that his friend would not be returning. Year after year, her love for Parker was greater than any adversity. The years passed, and one day Kate returned to the village accompanied by the Japanese man. They visited Parker's grave, but what they found left them speechless. 10 years had passed, and when they headed to the station, they discovered something shocking. Hachiko was still there. Although he was old and tired, his spirit was intact. He hadn't lost hope. Kate was moved and decided to wait for the train one last time with the dog. Night fell, and Hachiko continued his routine. Kate told Ronnie Hachiko's story, and the boy was amazed by the dog's loyalty. It was a testament to true love. Meanwhile, Hachiko settled down to sleep, and when he heard the noise of the train, he woke up and, with his last bit of strength, began to walk. The dog was already old, but all he cared about was seeing his friend Parker one more time. Seconds later, Hachiko made it to the station. Everything fell silent, and he closed his eyes, remembering the happiest moments of his life with his friend Parker. Finally, his body rested, and he departed for a place where he would be at peace. Until the last moment, he remained faithful, waiting for his friend. Hachiko knew his mission was over. He was finally reunited with his friend Parker in 1934. Their story of love and loyalty still lives on, and in tribute to his unwavering loyalty, there is still a bronze statue in Shibuya Station, right in the same place where the dog always waited for his great friend Parker. If you enjoyed this real-life summary called Always by Your Side, and if you love animals,